Welcome into LTSN, the second of our doubleheader on this Saturday afternoon on Military Appreciation Day. The Blue Devils looking to square off with the Gray Wolves for the second time this season. It was Lourdes coming away with the 22-point dominant fashion victory a month ago down in Sylvania, Ohio. The frigid temperatures postponed both of these teams' Wednesday matchups. But it won't last enough to postpone this Saturday slate around the WAC. Both of these teams trying to hang on to spots that would give them a tournament position in the conference. Neither team made the conference tournament a season ago. The Blue Devils are hoping to make it for the first time in program history. Currently 6th in the WAC. But every game is magnified down the stretch with 6 left. Starting 5 on the floor, you have Jalen Bethel, Devontae Miles, Ty Searles, Carter France, and Alec Ivanovich looking to get back in transition here. The transition game really worked out for Lourdes the first time that these two squads got together. That was an 89-67 victory back on January 5th. Blue Devils had a really nice ending to the month of January as Searles throws it away there. Not the best start to this one, though. A bit sloppy out of the gates. Looking to clean things up and settle in. Blue Devils come in at 11-12 overall, hoping to get to 500. They've never been 500 this late in the season. Cliff Snow from deep, one of the big three for this Lourdes team. Kadeem Jones, Cliff Snow, and Brett Lauf. Both coaches mentioned those guys before the game. Asked assistant coach for Lourdes about this team and their strengths, and he told me about Lauf and Kadeem Jones and Cliff Snow. On the Lourdes side, on the LTU side rather, Coach Pickens didn't take too long to point those guys out to me. So keep your eye on them and keep your eye on Ty Searles, who's defending here, leading the WAC in scoring, coming off back-to-back 30-point performances to close out January, a 36-point afternoon last Saturday. And a win over Great Lakes Christian. A second chance here for McCray. Bethel and looks like Searles, looks like France there kind of had a miscommunication, and McCray slipped right through. Not the start the Blue Devils envisioned, but still just 5-0, a 2-possession game. Going to get something going on this offensive possession. 2 of the first 3 have resulted in turnovers. Searles stopping, popping, and hitting. Picking up right where he left off with 36 points last Saturday, as I mentioned. Reigning WAC Conference Player of the Week. The season of milestones continued last week for the Blue Devils, with Ty Searles becoming the first player in program history to achieve that feat. No player had ever done it. Most thought that he should have had one earlier in the season. Here he comes. Searles to the paint, to Bethel, an easy finish. Quick 4 points. The Blue Devils have settled in a bit over these last couple of possessions after a sloppy start. Lourdes certainly comes into this building with plenty of confidence after how they played against the Blue Devils in the first meeting. LTU was actually up 15-9 at one point in that game, but Lourdes just pulled away in the second half and never looked back. Here's Kadeem Jones, 17 points per game. That's a fun matchup with Devontae Miles, a lock-up defender for the Blue Devils, back in the starting lineup again. Has to kind of recover, and Kadeem Jones, by courtesy of the screen, was able to get down the lane and earn himself a couple of free throws. Jones shooting 80% from the line. Crowd lets him have it, but he stays poised. Sophomore guard. It's quite the tandem between him and Cliff Snow. 2 guys averaging 17 a game. Very promising future. And both are just sophomores as Kadeem Jones goes 2 for 2. And now a little backcourt pressure. Devontae Miles started this season in a new role, coming off the bench, flourished in that role. Dalen Blakely out again with the elbow injury. Hoping to get him back soon, but here's Miles offensively. Couldn't get it to go. Miles has flourished, no surprise, in the starting lineup. He's got back-to-back 20-point games, but gliding with a runaway to the cup was Kadeem Jones. Head coach Josh Pickens didn't like that. It's 9-4. They'll talk things over. 15:58 to go in this opening half. Take a quick breather. We'll be back on the other side of the break. Welcome back to LTSN, a 9-4 start for the Grey Wolves on the road here at the Riddler. Head coach Josh Pickens going up against head coach Josh Gibson for Lourdes. Both trying to take these programs to new height. Both young teams with plenty of upward trajectory. Searles with a runway, gliding. Miles the board, that's what he does. But it was a lot of traffic congestion down there. Searles triggered from three and drilled it. Ty off to a 2-for-3 start from the field for 5 points. He's got 5 of Lawrence Tech's 7 in the early goings. Nice start to this one. Tad sloppy through the first minute. Cliff Snow looking for his second triple. Long rebound. Those are tough to handle. It goes right into the hands of Brett Lauf. One of the most efficient guys in this conference, Brett Lauf. McComb for 3. Off the mark, Ivanovic, a good three-point shooter himself. Gets it up to Searles. Nice pass down low. Bethel blocked, though, by Cliff Snow, who can do it defensively and offensively. Now in transition. This is where the Blue Devils have to defend well. Cliff Snow, better offense, good defense, but better offense that time from Cliff Snow. Miles, nice first step, ran into traffic. The poised freshman, Carter France, glides, couldn't finish. Bethel, another poised freshman, had it swatted again by Cliff Snow. 2 Ohio natives going at it down low, Cliff Snow and Jalen Bethel, and Cliff Snow has won the first couple of rounds. But the Blue Devils have the ball back, down 4. LTU on a winning streak of 2 in a row. Tough shot from Searles, and back come the Grey Wolves. Quickly, Kadeem Jones. France corrals the much important offensive board, and he'll set up the offense. Weaves around. Cumberland, nice feed. Bethel that time he's able to finish. 11-9 Blue Devils. Some nice looks down low for LTU early on. That was just their first field goal in the last 7 attempts. Jalen Bethel has been a step up at the forward position, basically from anything LTU has ever had down low. Cumberland, the athletic freshman, defends, but once again, better offense from Kadeem Jones, who's off to a nice start. He's got 6 points, leading the way early for Lourdes. Did they get an off? They got a defensive foul there. So this will stay with the Blue Devils. Miles checks back in. Women's team pulled off an emphatic win earlier in the day for the Blue Devils. No stop signs. They were in cruise control the entire time. Got up to a 20-2 start and didn't look back. Carter France drills that triple to get on the board. And it's just a 1-point game. Answering right back. Nice rhythm in the early goings to this one. Snow takes. Searles the board. France's teammates say that he is such a hard worker, obviously is, with what he can do at a young age. Searle is one of the hardest working players in the nation. Gets it back out to France. Still plenty of time here, just still 13 on the clock. Spinning is Cumberland. France pulls, he was hit from deep, and he'll have a chance for another lucrative possession. Carter France could possibly have 6 points in 2 possessions here. .5'10" freshman from Dansville, Michigan. 71% free throw shooter. Gives the Blue Devils their first lead of the game. A bit of a rough start today, but this team is so resilient, so poised, unusually calm when they're down for a team of this age. 8 freshmen on the active roster today. 11 new players between freshmen and transfers. Hoping to get Dalen Blakely, a transfer from California, back soon. Closing there as the crowd gets louder. Hands clapping on the Blue Devils side. The cut and the denial for Miles. Excellent defense. Miles running down the wing. They'll give it to France. France cutting across the paint. Cumberland had it stripped. This stays with Lawrence Tech. Josh Gibson and the Lourdes bench arguing the call as the intensity picks up in this one. France. Cumberland. Bethel posting up. Searles will trigger and hit. It's a 6-0 LTU run. Travel called on Snow. And the Blue Devils have played well out of that last timeout. The LTU band serenades Cliff Snow. Christian Wagenhauser now in down low for Lourdes. So Snow no longer guarding Bethel. Wagenhauser is 6'9". Bethel at 6'7". Steal from Kadeem Jones. He'll glide and slam with the righty hammer. Kadeem Jones. Eight for Jones. 18-15 Blue Devils. Miles face up. He'll give it back to Searles. 6 on the shot clock. Searles double clutch 3. No foul called. Back come the Grey Wolves. Pushing the pace. Cliff Snow pirouettes into contact. He'll go to the line for a couple more. .71, 77% free throw shooter is Cliff Snow. He grasped the attention of this coaching staff early in his career, started 27 of his first 29 games as a freshman on the campus of Lourdes University. Middletown, Ohio native. Hits the second free throw. Such an efficient player, 17.8 a game leading the team. That goes along with 8.2 rebounds a game at 6'5". Mentioned 77% from the free throw line. The kid shoots 43% from 3 and 49% from the field. That is scary efficient for a guy who is a sophomore averaging 17 a game. Here's Searles. He's been scary for defenses this year. Outlet pass, Jones. Identifies, slows, pops, well short. Blue Devils coming in at 11-12 on the season, 6-8 in the WAC. They're 5-4 on this home floor. I mentioned plenty of turnover in the offseason, player personnel-wise. Josh Pickens has done a brilliant job at handling what is not an easy task with all the new pieces. Foul before the shot attempts. Loose ball out of the inbounds. That was an awkward inbounds. France pumps. Cumberland drives. Contact. They'll learn a couple of free throws. Earlier in the broadcast, I mentioned why these games are still so important. The pressure magnified. You almost feel like you have to win out. There's only 2.5 games separating 6th place and 10th place Concordia. The top 8 make the WAC tournament. The Blue Devils have never made the WAC tournament, so that is certainly the goal and the next step for this very young group. Get used to seeing these guys because most of them are pretty young. Searles has obviously led this team this year, along with Devontae Miles. Two guys that know each other so well, play together so well. Right on cue, Devontae Miles getting set to check back in. Those are the two seniors. They couldn't have handled that role any better, and still plenty of basketball to be played. The most important basketball of their careers on this campus. Is drawing the foul down low there and going to the line will be the freshman Caden Smith. Miles gets back in, as previously mentioned, for Cumberland. Blue Devils went 5-4 in the month of January. Kind of epitomized the ups and downs that you find with a young team. Still above 500 record, obviously. And it was a high ends to that month of January with back-to-back wins last weekend on a back-to-back. Those were non-conference games. LTU 6-8 in the WAC. Their Wednesday game was postponed with Michigan Dearborn due to the minus 40-degree weather. Bethel looking to heat up. They defended well from behind there by Wagenhauser, but an errant throw on the save, and the Blue Devils have a fresh shot clock. Searles into traffic, lost it, and that'll stay with LTU once again to the dismay of the Lourdes bench. 24 left on the shot clock with 8:33 to go in the first half. A 1-point game. Blue Devils up 20-19. Trying to get the ball from underneath the scores table here. Thank you for joining us on Military Appreciation Night here inside of the Riddler. Such a good cause. Ceremony will take place after this game. Honor those great men and women. Here is Miles corkscrewing into the paint. That almost went down. He's going to get a couple of free throws. Last few possessions have felt very defensive. The Blue Devils on their third opportunity now. A couple of balls that pinballed around. Miles went pinballing into the paint there, and he hits the first free throw. LTU is 1 game back of Lourdes for 5th in the conference. Miles a big 2 for 2 to make it a 3-point game. Both of these teams have at least 6 freshmen on the active rosters today. Each one of these young teams can come out of Saturday with a big win. Kadeem Jones fouled on the way to the paint. They've had trouble stopping him in the early goings. There have been times when the Blue Devils have had trouble stopping elite players like Jones individually this season. Miles checks out. He was defending Jones. You can't go wrong with Miles on Jones. Miles is an excellent defender, excellent footwork, very strong legs. Here's McCray into traffic. He traveled. If you tuned into our first game, there was a plethora of travels the Blue Devils forced just by closing like that. The Blue Devil woman just by closing and the double teams coming over. It's a quick turnaround for Lourdes. They'll have Siena Heights on Monday. It was a Wednesday game originally of this week that was postponed due to the chilly weather. Suro's long bomb. He got it. He can do that. And when Agent Zero gets going, it's a tough flame to put out. Here's McComb as the noise grows louder here inside of the Riddler. The crowd will applaud another good defensive possession. Head coach Josh Pickens told me that he wants his team to get back to playing defense today. Here's Searles on the offensive end, climbing into the paint and earning himself a couple of free throws. Potential for Searles to start heating up down the stretch here in the first half. A nice 3. He's in double figures now. 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting. He's already hit 3 triples. And now he'll go to the line for the first time on this Saturday afternoon. About 49 degrees out. That's a bit much. About 45 degrees outside today, which feels like summer in comparison to what we've dealt with in the state of Michigan throughout this week. I mentioned the games that were canceled on Wednesday. A lot of games on the men's and women's side postponed either until next Monday, or for the Blue Devils, they'll make up the Michigan Dearborn games on the 11th. Searles drills both. It's a 6-0 run, and it's the largest lead of the game for Lawrence Tech. Largest lead for any team, up to 8. Coming on at the right time. Lourdes has gone cold. No points in the last 2-13. Cliff Snow trying to do something about that, and does. Snow has 9, the leading scorer for Lourdes. Searles, the leading scorer in the WAC conference. Sizing up McComb, crosses left, crosses right, and drills it, ties. Searles, nifty move, brilliant shot. The lead is back up to 8. Bench is up, defense is clapping. Riddler noise is loud. Head coach Josh Pickens in the defensive stance himself. That 3 grazes off the front rim. Back comes France. Drop back for Searles. This is long. Off the front of the rim. Long rebound will favor the Blue Devils. Little heat check there for Ty Searles, the Pontiac, Michigan native. Bethel. Now they try to go down low. Back cut. Searles. Nifty cut. Nifty finish. Searles is hot. I just mentioned when that flame gets going, it's tough to cool off. Searles has 17 first half points. It's 31-21 with 5:40 to go in the first half. Lead is up to double digits. I think the fans are just expecting this now, and Searles with the and one there. I'm willing to bet that might not be the last time we see him do that this afternoon. Momentum is seriously in favor of Lawrence Tech right now. Cliff Snow couldn't finish. Carter France the board. Blue Devils have pushed the pace over the last few minutes. Whips to Bethel underneath. Big body, the bump and the finish. 34-21. It's a 14-2 run. The Blue Devils lost to Lourdes by 22 a month ago. This is a different game. Josh Pickens told me he wants to treat it as a different game to the point where he's not even talking about it. Another foul. Discharge to Cliff Snow, and LTU will get the ball back. They are really moving and grooving right now. He told me before the game, when I deliberately asked him, what was your takeaway from that first matchup? What do you think could be the difference? And he told me that, I don't want to look at it in comparison to the first game. I want to get back to playing defense, which they've done over the past few minutes very well. And, they've played their game over these last couple in search of now a 3-game winning streak. Still very early, obviously, under 5 to go in the first half. Bethel drops it back for Cumberland. Couldn't finish, but again, a nice look and a nice cut. Offense is really moving around, glowing over the past few minutes. No, they're going to get a foul on that hand check from Ivanovic. Speaking of stark contrasts from first meeting to second meeting, the Blue Devil women in the first meeting with Lourdes were down 21 at one point in the first half. We're down 45-28 after the third, down 7 with the final 2 minutes of the game approaching. They came back and won that. It was the comeback of the year in the conference, but the Blue Devil men weren't so lucky on that day. They lost by 22, but obviously the women's game was a serious slip around too, just dominated from wire to wire as McCray fills it up. Boy, this Blue Devil men's basketball team, they have flipped the switch. They look much, much different today. They got off to a decent start in that game, but simply didn't hold it up. Searles are on the way to the cup. Easy finish. Now Lourdes in comeback mode, down 13. McCray tried to climb the ladder. This will stay with the Gray Wolves. Blue Devils have just vaulted into momentum over the past few minutes. Lead is 13. They didn't get off to a good start to this game. Snow couldn't finish the point-blank layup. Couldn't finish the second point-blank layup. This is going to go to Lawrence Tech. Frustration building for this Lourdes team. Bench hasn't been up like they were for the first couple of minutes. Timeout called. 36-23 Blue Devils. Ty Searles has 20 with 3:39 to go in the first half. Welcome back, campus of Lawrence Tech University. Southfield warming up a bit today, and the Blue Devils are warming up on this home floor, where they are hoping to get to 2 games above 500. Currently 5-4 on the home court. They can get to 500 overall for the first time in February in program history with a victory today. They're off to an auspicious start. Motion offense has really been sparkling over these last, 8-9 minutes now. Searles late in the shot clock has to whip it to Frentz. He can hit from that distance. Off front rim. McCray pulls the board down. Another pointless possession. A scoreless possession, I should say, from Lourdes. Brett Lauf yet to really get going in this one, just 0 for 3. Guy who averages 14 points per game for this Lourdes offense as a travel was called there. That'll give the ball back to the Grey Wolves with 2:43 to go in the first half. Blue Devil women dominated Lourdes earlier today. Blue Devil men are up by double digits. I don't think many people expected this around the league. Can't let up though, still plenty of ball to go. This is a 1-point game earlier in the half. The Blue Devils have been in control on both ends of the floor during this run. It was a 12-2 run that propelled them into what is now a double-digit lead. For the most part, games have been airtight at home. Step back three. Bryce McComb couldn't hit. Pace is slowed down slightly. Searles, his pace into the paint picks up acceleration, and Searles has 22. That's his season average, folks, 22. He's got 30 in back-to-back games. He appears to have intention to make it 3 in a row. Reigning WAC Conference Player of the Week. First time he's ever earned that honor. First time any Blue Devil has ever earned that honor on the men's side. Five 30-point games already this season for Searles as McCray White will go to the free throw line. Fun Saturday in college basketball. Just got a word that NC State only put up 24 points against Virginia, I believe it was. Talk about defense. Around the WAC as Searles drives, was fouled before the shot. Cornerstone leads the way at 13-2, 20-5. And they obviously also have one of the top players in the conference, Indiana Tech. Behind them at 11-4, still an opportunity for maybe some shakeup at the top as Madonna is 10-4, Seton Heights 11-5. It's really tight from 1 to 4, and it's really tight from 5 to 10. That's kind of separating the pack there. Doesn't look like the top 4 are going to shake up in terms of anyone slipping into the conference, but so we got a call here from the official. Looks like, I'm not sure what's going on, but it looks like Bryce McComb kind of has an incredulous look on his face, as if they called something against him. But I heard the referee saying black, something that I didn't think that would indicate the black uniforms for Lourdes, but now they're going to talk things over at the scorers table. Searles still at the line, holding a 15-point lead for Lawrence Tech. Referees emerged out of that discussion with appearing as though there was nothing called. Searles knocks down the free throw. And he has 24. Nicole Buckingham had 26 after the first half for the women. It's Searles with 24 for the men with 1:33 to go in this first half. An afternoon of exquisite scoring for these Blue Devil leaders. Talking about Nicole Buckingham and Ty Searles, those are each in their respective leagues the top 2 leading scorers. How often do you see that? The same school on the men and women's side having the top 2 leading scorers. Buckingham with 16 a game for the woman. That'll go up to probably 17 a game after her brilliant career-high 37-point performance. Had a chance to chat with her about it after that game. And Searles, could he be on his way to a career high? He has 24 already. Again, can I say it again? I mean, Buckingham had 26 in the first half just about an hour ago. Blue Devil men picking up right where the woman left off. This caroms out of bounds off the Blue Devils, so to go back to Lourdes. Driving and sliding and getting through contact. That time was Lauf. And for Lauf, that's just his first bucket of the game. A guy who averages 14 a game. A guy who shoots over 45% from the field. Started out 0 of 3. With 45.8 to go in the first half. A 40-28 game. Another Lourdes foul, and they'll line it up again. Ever since the Blue Devils went on this run, Lourdes has not been able to piece together a run of their own. There's been no true response. Give Searles 25. That'll be really funny if he can hit this. Finish with 26, just like Nicole Buckingham did about an hour ago. Hits it. He's got 26. 42-28. All of the morning workouts, early morning workouts, paying off for Ty Searles. Guy who stayed in the gym over Christmas as another positive sign from Brett Lauf. I mean, he just does not let up. Agent Zero is back at it. Back-to-back 30-point games. 5 on the season. Might as well give him the last shot here. There is a 5-second difference between shot and game. Game clock at 16. Shot clock at 11. It's winding down. Shot clock at 6. Searles. This is France, top of the key 3. With time, 5 seconds for Lauf. Had trouble corralling it, Kadeem Jones. That's off at the buzzer. Time winds down. It's 42-31 after one half. Buckingham had 26 points after the first half in our first game. Searles has 26 points in the first half after our second game. One scoring performance for the books, and we're only through a half. 42-31. We'll be back after the intermission. Welcome back into LTSN. Second half of action getting underway. You're on the Blue Devil Network. It's Carter French straight away, around and out. If Lourdes is going to get a comeback push, it's going to start with Cliff Snow. Possibly Kadeem Jones, an errant pass there, tracked down by McComb. Here's Clough. It'll have to start with him as well. He's had a pretty off day relative to what we've seen from him throughout the year. Looking at their big three, it's Lauf with 7 on 3 of 7. Snow just 3 of 10 for 9. And then Jones with 8 points. He got off to a really nice start, but then cooled down. Josh Pickens told me before the game, have to control those guys. And right now they're all in single digits. Bethel, freshman from Columbus, going to work down there, and he now has 8. Playing more minutes than just about every other freshman in this league. Errant pass. Miles covered that off the ball defensively very well. Lourdes still just unable to string together any sort of a push since the Blue Devils went on that 12-2 run in the first half. They tried to, I think, get the isolation there, but McComb noticed it. But now Bethel has a mismatch. Pumps, goes up, fouled and one. Jalen Bethel off to a nice start to this second half. Blue Devils lead is up to 15. And Bethel will have a chance at one more. Six-seven freshman from Columbus. He's been better than everything pretty much the Blue Devils have had in previous history at that position. One of 3 players on this Blue Devil team averaging double figures in terms of scoring. Searles, Bethel, and Miles. Miles right on cue with the board. He averages 7.5 rebounds per game. Here's French. Quick first step, glides to the cup. Carter France turning on the Jets. This is the largest lead of the afternoon. It's up to 18. Oh, Bethel met Jones at the apex, but the foul is going to go to Bethel. Caden Smith back in for the Grey Wolves. Blue Devils will have a meeting with Aquinas next up. It was their largest WAC victory of the season when Aquinas came to the Riddler earlier this season. They beat Aquinas 77-60. So you win this one, you've won 3 in a row, heading into a matchup against a team that you beat by 17 as Bethel continues to muscle his way up underneath. Back-to-back and ones for Jalen Bethel, and the lead could balloon to 20 if he can knock down this free throw. The last WAC game on the home floor for the Blue Devils was an 81-52 lopsided loss to Madonna. Talk about flipping the script around this league. It seems to be a common theme going from first game to second game as Cliff Snow is open. He hits it. Getting back on that subject, Blue Devils beat Madonna in an upset win earlier this season. That was a part of a 2-0 start in WAC play. It was the first ever 2-0 start in WAC play for this Blue Devil team. Just a part of a season of milestones. Carter France swings over to Ty Searles, who has had plenty of milestones himself. Here's Ivanovic, open for three. Budovas have certainly flipped the script from the first meeting with Lourdes. Lost that one by 22. They're now up by 17. Nice strip from Ty Searles. Searles into the paint, gliding, blocked, fouled hard. Are they gonna? I don't think they called a foul there. It's gonna say it was a clean block. Searles went down very, very hard. No resistance to the call. We'll just get it back and put it up. And hit. Incredible sequence there from Ty Searles. It's a baller right there, folks. You get hit, you get knocked down, you come right back and you hit the triple. Cliff Snow answers the other way with a three of his own. Budovas have hit 5 of their last 6 from the field. Miles in the face-up against Snow. Whips it corner for France. Fought his way through the initial contacts. We get a foul before the move into the shot from Searles, or France rather. Nice pace to this game. Ty crisscrossing, he'll fire. Heat check, Bethel gets it back. Couple of guys that are really hot right now. Searles slithering behind the back pass. Nifty play, Ivanovic. Scintillating, aesthetically pleasing possession. Everyone is smiling right now. Cliff Snow couldn't answer that time. Lead stays at 20. And Ty Searles, Agent Zero, walking into the front court. Miles getting set to check back in. Searles accelerates, trying to shift gears. Lost the possession. Back comes Lauf. Nice double pump on the flyby. Makes it an 18-point game. There's Carter France, a Steve Nash-esque game. Such great court vision, such great calmness. Noticed it right on cue there when he kind of lost the handle, but stayed very poised in the corner. Now Bethel against McCray. Turning, firing, fouled, almost another and one. That was in Ohio, on Ohio native matchup. And now I believe we just got a technical foul called on Lourdes. McCray White, he was not happy with that call. It's talked to by the assistant coach. McCray White, one of the better players on that team. Frustration building for the Grey Wolves. And Searles, excellent free throw shooter. It's the first one. 83% on the season. He now has 30 in the game. Nine of 15 from the field, 4 of 8 from three-point range, 30 points in 25 minutes. We're the league's leading scorer and reigning WAC player of the week. Bethel hasn't been bad either. He's got 15 on 6 of 9 shooting in 21 minutes. The men's and women's teams have looked like well-oiled machines on this Saturday afternoon. A smart play offensively there from Kadeem Jones. Tough to take that foul if you're Carter France, but kind of how offensive tactics work nowadays in basketball. Just saw James Harden. What he used to do was kind of stick the arms out and get fouled. NBA changed that rule to not allow him to do that anymore, but his IQ in the game of basketball has allowed him to continue and obviously amp up the scoring that he has done for Houston. Another 30-point game last night for James Harden, continuing that wild streak that he is on of 30-point games. He's averaging 43 points per game at one point. Ty Searles is putting together a James Harden run of his own. He has back-to-back performances with 30 points. That wild Denver Nuggets-Houston Rockets game last night was a crazy outputting of offense from Denver in particular. Cross-court kick somehow got to Cumberland there through traffic, ran into traffic, and they got him for a travel. The Lourdes bench and the traveling Lourdes fans trying to inject some sort of an energy and some sort of a momentum spur into this Lourdes group. Right now, it's still a 19-point deficit for Lauf and this Lourdes team. It's Jones, Snow, Smith, Lauf, and White, the five for Lourdes. Searles, Cumberland, France, Miles, and Bethel for Lawrence Tech. Here's Wagenhauser, went into the paint, got hit on the head. This will stay with Lourdes. Wagenhauser still grabbing his forehead. Was hit pretty hard there. Nice drive from Snow. Bethel claiming that he held the hands up. A lot of high IQ offensive players on this Lourdes team. Yet they trail by 19. Snow has 15 leading the way, and he's at the line. Just 5 of 14 from the field, though, for Cliff Snow. So, I mean, when you have high scores like this, sometimes it's not necessarily how much they score, it's what you limit their efficiency to. For example, I just spoke about James Harden. Right now, if you're defending James Harden, say he scores 30 points. If you hold him to 11 of 30 shooting, then you've probably succeeded. If you hold him to 16 of 19 shooting, then you haven't. Right now, they're holding the guys in that big three to relatively unsuccessful shooting percentages. Blue Devils are up 17. There's 13:45 to go in the second half. We'll be back here on LTSN. Wonderful Saturday afternoon in the city of Southfield on the campus of Lawrence Tech University, where the Blue Devils lead it by 17. Not too many people expected for the score to be 60-43 in favor of Lawrence Tech with 13:27 to go in this first half. Miles, splendid move, got it to go in the paint. Lead is back up to 19. Nice double. Foul. Oh, this is going to go back to Lawrence. Oh, they're going to keep it. We're in the bonus now, so it's going to be 2 for Wagenhauser. Wagenhauser, a guy that decided to stay home and play in Sylvania, Ohio. He's a Sylvania, Ohio native, Southview High School. Just a freshman at 6'9". Could have hit either free throw there, and the Grey Wolves still have not strung together any sort of momentum that would tell you they have the opportunity and the ability to come back on this one. Blue Devils have hit 7 of their last 9. France tried to make it 8 out of their last 10. Off the mark, though. 2 freshmen, 1 sophomore, 2 seniors on the floor for LTU. That's thrown away. Once again, just kind of hurting themselves are the Gray Wolves. You go 0 for 2 from the line, and then you throw it away. France might have had a mismatch earlier in this possession in terms of fleet-footedness. Was matched up with Wagenhauser. But now here's Miles against Cliff Snow. France is open now, but he finds Ivanovic. Miles snaring down the board. What a play, Devontae Miles. Cumberland was hit hard in the face, I believe. He does get up. Still holding his face in some pain there. Sana Siswa getting set to check in, and the trainer will come out. Cumberland able to walk it off. Looks like a facial injury. Might be grabbing at his eye. Gets a towel, some ice, maybe a wet towel. Hope that Isaiah Cumberland is okay. Sitting on the bench there, getting looked at by the trainer. Appears to be an eye. And with 12:18 to go in the second half, it's still a 64-43 lead for the Blue Devils. The 5 on the floor. Now you have France out there with Searles, Siswa replacing Cumberland, Ivanovic, and Miles. Blue Devils are already dealing with some injury problems with Dalen Blakely out. I'll tell you what, Cliff Snow has some ability to penetrate and do it and make it look easy. He can draw fouls, gets to the foul line with the best of them in this conference. It's a Lourdes team that's 16-8 overall, 7-7 in the conference. Gray Wolves are 5th in the WAC. Blue Devils are looking to pull off what I guess you could say should be classified as an upset. But the Blue Devil bench and the players out on the floor, head coach Josh Pickens, assistant coach Joe Lightfoot, they certainly aren't viewing this as an upset. But they are viewing it as still plenty of basketball to go. France able to save that. With 12, it's Siswa, the freshman. France steps to his left, fires a 3. Off the mark, but tapped back out in a fresh 30. Blue Devils looking to get to 7-8 in the conference. They're 6th overall. Siswa was left alone. Lourdes just got caught sleeping defensively. That was a runway into the paint for the freshman who scores his first bucket of the game. It's Lauf answering right back. Two blowouts today in favor of Lawrence Tech, at least to this point, on both the women's and men's side, that I don't think anyone expected based off the first meetings in both respective leagues. Searles called for the offensive foul. Searles had 26 in the first half. Cooled off a bit over the last few minutes, but still 30 and 29 minutes. 66-46, the Blue Devil lead here at the Riddler with 10:51 to go in the second half. Almost halfway through, Isaiah Cumberland appears to be all right. He's walking around, still kind of blinking a bit, but the freshman does appear to be all right. His minutes have been up. It's been good defensively. Can also add his imprint in offensively. He's going to add his imprint back into this game. He'll have to wait to get in, though, at the scores table. Out of the break, it's Kadeem Jones on with Cliff Snow. Tyler Kegley in the game now for Lourdes, along with McComb. Long rebound tapped out. We've seen a lot of those. Blue Devils have to reset defensively with Miles, France, Ivanovic, Searles, and Sisawa. McComb finds space. Sisawa, the aggressive board. Sisawa's three, he drains it. Right off the bench, Sanas Sisawa makes it a 23-point game. Sisawa shoots just 26% from the three-point line, hit the three, then went back the other way and made a defensive play. Searles pulls, grazes off the front of the rim, looking to heat up again. Third straight 30-point game, sixth of the season for Ty Searles. And 26 of those 30 in the first half. Cliff Snow is offensive board. One of the better rebounders in this conference, 8.9 a game. Josh Pickens tells his team to box out. These are the two most improved teams in the WAC conference. LTU finished just 3 of 17 in WAC play last season. They were last place. Lourdes was second to last, just one spot ahead of LTU, also at 3 and 17, but they were 10 and 19 overall. LTU was 4 and 22 overall last season. This is an LTU program and a Lourdes program. I mean, they're both taking such great strides in terms of momentum towards the future. Young, good, solid players with potential on both sides. A chance to get to 500 in February for Lawrence Tech tonight. They're 11 and 12 overall. This time last year, LTU was 3 and 19, just 2 and 14 in WAC play. I've spoken to head coach Josh Pickens about the losing last year, and he told me, though, even through that losing, the focus was on developing the culture. The leadership was there, and they were making important strides despite what was in that left column. And he still preaches that this season. And now it's kind of been legitimized in terms of these steps forward that you can see on paper with stats. These steps forwards that you can see in the win column. The most wins all time in program history. Chance to add on to that tonight. 83% free throw shooter at the line. Searles drills it. The Blue Devils are up 24. Largest WAC win of the season was also on this home floor against Aquinas. It was a 77-60, 17-point win. Jones went down hard against Searles. Offensive foul. Kind of a dangerously hard collision. Kadeem Jones landed right on Ty Searles, a bit slow to get up. Really laid his body out there and did it for a good cause. This is going to go back to Lawrence Tech. Cliff Snow coming back in for Lourdes. Mentioned just 2.5 games separate 6th place for LTU and 10th place. You need to be in the top 8 to make the conference tournament. You need to be in the top 4 to host a first round. Blue Devils have never made the conference tournament, but with a win like this and momentum moving forward, a matchup with Aquinas on Monday, a team that they beat by 17 earlier this season, they are riding high and clear, coasting to the finish line with 8:35 to go. Welcome back to the campus of Lawrence Tech University, city of Southfield, Michigan. Fortunately, it's warmed up a bit today in the mid-40s, which feels like summer in comparison to what we've had to deal with throughout the week. Classes were canceled twice this week on campus. Games were postponed on Wednesday. Blue Devils would have played Michigan Dearborn on the road, a team that Ty Searles had a game winner against on this home floor to beat them 66-65 earlier this season. That was one of the most exciting, thrilling games that we've seen this year throughout the conference, really, and throughout the NAIA. Blue Devils pulled off that late comeback. We're down 7 in the latter stages of the second half. Cumberland back in the game. Looks comfortable out there. Doesn't appear to be ailing anymore. Searles had it stripped. Keegley getting minutes in the second half. Long range pull up. Trying to make up for the deficit all in one possession. What a play there from Cumberland. Cliff Snow tried to throw the ball off of him, but Cumberland simply caught it. Now France in the corner. Pumps once, steps to his right, drills the three. A smile on the face of Carter France. He has 14. His third three of the game. Keegley hacks and one for Keegley. Six-seven forward, has a brother on the team as well. Kyle Keegley, who's a freshman as well. Both are Mount Gilead, Ohio natives. Northmore High School. Keegley's been a good rebounder for this team. 3 points per game, but solid 4 rebounds a game off the bench. Certainly has provided an impact, and a positive one for Lourdes. Carter France wide open in the paint. Nice close, though, from Lourdes. They'll fly the other way. Stop and pop three. And the string of contacts continued, and just give the ball back to Lourdes. Cliff Snow heading to the line. Well, if it feels like Snow has been at the line tonight, he has. These are his 9th and 10th field goal, free throws rather. And he is a good free throw shooter. That kind of always aids his scoring average. And he's got the 20-point mark now, make it 21 for the Middletown, Ohio native. France will wrap it around for Bethel. Blue Devils are searching for their third straight double-digit win. So foul was called offensively there. Would be the first time in program history that they've won 3 straight games by double digits. They beat Finlandia 177 last Friday, and Great Lakes Christian 89-74, and now up 20 with 6:09 to go. Every game it feels like there's some sort of a milestone. In this one, they could hit 2 with a win. Again, it would be the first time at 500 in terms of their overall win-loss record in February. And this would be the first time ever that they would have won 3 straight by double digits. Still working on that, though. 5:44 to go, second half. Lourdes never really made a push to come back in this one. Ivanovic just has to lean and fire. The air ball was caught by Miles. Essentially turns into an alley-oop. They'll take it. Everything going Lawrence Tech's way right now. This might be the best start to finish performance for Lawrence Tech this season. Searles was fouled there before kicking to France. Blue Devils in the bonus now, so free throws coming up. It wasn't a double bonus yet, but Searles knocks down the first. He's got 33 now. Nicole Buckingham finished with 37 earlier today on the women's side. Still can't get over the fact that LTU has the top 2 scorers in WAC basketball. On the women's side, Nicole Buckingham leads the way with 16.7 a game. Her average will go up after the 37-point outing today. On the men's side, Ty Searles leads the conference with a shade under 23 points per game. This will be his 3rd straight 30-point game. France popping off the mark. Keegley the board. Almost lost it in the backcourt there. The dump down low, another wraparound, double clutch. They're going to get a foul and a bucket. I don't know if I saw it there. Jalen Bethel certainly thinks he didn't touch Lauf, but referee thought otherwise. 78-60 game, 4:17 to go. Keegley checks out for Lourdes. Caden Smith makes his way in. Grey Wolves are 16-8 this season, coming off a good win over U of M Dearborn last week. It was a comeback, narrow win, 77-74, but they just have not had it today against a team that they beat by 22 earlier this season. An unexpected flip of the script. Now the Blue Devils nearing the point where you can begin to wind down the clock. They get it poked away with space. Gliding and finishing was Brett Lauf, who has had a much better second half. He's up to 16 points, and he's now up to his overall averages in this one, 7-14 from the field. He shoots so efficiently, about 50% almost on the season. Shade under 50. Cumberland works his way out of a trap and finds Ivanovic. You have numbers here. Open 3, Carter France. Was looking for another. Miles right there for the board. Couple of pump fakes. Tough, challenging, double clutch, fall away shot. Still a 15-point game. We've seen crazier things happen in college basketball. So certainly have to hold on here. 3:20 to go, up 15. Guarding the perimeter will be key. Spoke to the Lourdes coaching staff before the game. They felt In the first matchup, they were really successful on the perimeter. And this one, 5 of 19 from 3, just 26%. Jones got off to a hot start in this one for Lourdes. He's been held in check, just 3 of 9 for 9 points, 0 of 2 from three-point range. He averages 17 on the season. Snow has met his season mark with 23, but it's a 15-point Blue Devil lead. Welcome back to the Lawrence Tech Sports Network, 78-63. Blue Devils looking to put the finishing touches on what's been a sparkling performance. From start to finish, maybe their most dominant in WAC play. Backcourt turnover. Nice pass from Cliff Snow, but it took an odd hop. Well, that snaps a 7-0 run for Lourdes. Just trying to hang on here. 2:31 to go for the Blue Devils. Two for two. Searles has 36. He had 36 in his last outing on this floor. What a way to back it up. Gosh. Ty Searles, his third 35-point game of the season. Once again, first player in school history to be awarded Conference Player of the Week last week. There was an article that came out earlier this week that was just an awesome article. Talked about all the players in not only Division I basketball, college basketball players in the state of Michigan. Listed out the leading scorers in the state. Searles was number 2 on that list. He deserves all the praise he's gotten this season. Miles pulls down the board, his fellow senior, who has been spectacular as well. Adjusting to a roll off the bench early, then coming in to the starting lineup. Helps up his freshman teammate Carter France there. Another foul, 17-point lead. And more free throws coming up. Again, the woman with the emphatic win earlier today, and now the men are trying to put their seal of approval on what's right now a 19-point second half lead with just over 90 seconds to go. Lourdes beat LTU by 22 last month. Blue Devils are opening up the month of February, the final month of the regular season, with I think a win that at the end of this season you can really look back on and look at as a stepping stone for this program, in the sense that they did lose by 22 a month ago, but were not intimidated at all by this Grey Wolves team from start to finish. Blue Devils will get to 500 for the first time in February in program history. At 11-12 right now, headed towards 7-8 in the WAC. The top goal has to be to make the WAC tournament as you enter this month of February. A win today puts you on track to do that. 4 freshmen on the floor right now for the Blue Devils. Seth McKenzie, Arthur Ashbury, Logan Danaher, and Sana Siswa. And the leader, Ty Searles, out high. Danaher walking the baseline, stepped out of bounds. Now the second game in the last few where these guys coming off the bench that aren't seeing much playing time yet have gotten some time on the floor. McKenzie, Danaher, Ashbury. Arthur Ashbury is the coolest story right now. He's actually perfect from the field on the season. He is 3 for 3 total and 2 of 2 from three-point range. Confusion here. I think they're going to let these subs in. Head coach Josh Pickens wants to make sure things finish off in a clean fashion. So he puts for the most part, the starting group back out there. Everyone except for Miles right now, who started this game, on the floor. Siswa kind of came in relief when Cumberland went down with the eye injury, and Siswa played really well when he hit the floor. A promising freshman with a lot of potential. Searles on the technical free throws. Not quite sure what was called, but head coach Josh Gibson is not happy about it, really giving the referee an earful rather. On that sideline with 60 seconds exactly to milk out on this clock now. Freshmen are able to come right back in. Searles stays out with 38. Ty Searles, 2 points away from 40. Still 50 seconds to go. Press man-to-man defense here. Siswa glides and finishes. A double clutch. Freshman from Oak Park having himself a nice day off the bench. He has 9 now. And perfect from the field. Desperation heaves being employed. Danaher, or McKenzie rather, kind of got tied up there. Looks like with McComb rather. Swung down in a motion to his left. That's Lauf. I don't think there's going to be any sort of extracurricular activity called. Looks like just a basketball play, basketball wrap-up kind of move there, but they are discussing it. Couldn't see this being a technical foul. Final couple of minutes, taking a while to wrap up. Blue Devils have it all packed away, up 19 with 34.1 to go. Been a fun one. Searles with 38. It's been a fun afternoon. Buckingham put up 37 earlier today on our military appreciation broadcast. Thank you for tuning in again on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you may be. This broadcast will stay up on YouTube and Facebook. It'll be archived on there. It's all cosmetic now, but Lourdes adds on one more triple to make it a 16-point game. For the first time in this program's history, they'll have 3 straight double-digit games, barring something crazy. Bit of a late run here to cut it to 14 for Lourdes, but the shot clock is off. So I just heard no foul from the Lourdes bench. Ashbury corrals. 6 seconds. Danaher, and they'll run it out. A sparkling offensive display down the stretch there. 86-72 Blue Devils. The final from the Riddler. The women take it in double-digit fashion. The men follow it up with a big whack win of their own. Ty Searles finishes with 38. Carter France had 13. Bethel had 15. It was a fun start and a fun finish to the day. They'll get a salute from this crowd. Jason Ross Jr. signing off for our excellent Blue Devil crew. Producer Kiatias, behind the camera, Kayvon Higdon. In our first broadcast, producer Kiatias and Desi Cook. That'll do it from the Riddler. Have a wonderful night.